Dragon Ball, arguably the most well-known anime in the entire world. But how does a franchise even get to the point where it's so popular, almost everyone has at least heard of it? The answer to your question, being iconic. That's the perfect way to describe what a Super Saiyan is. Iconic. Everyone's probably at least heard of or seen a Super Saiyan before, whether they realized it or not. But Dragon Ball has had many additional forms and transformations throughout the years. So in today's video, I will be ranking every single transformation throughout the Dragon Ball series. Although, sadly, I hate to inform all my GT fans of this, but I will be excluding Super Saiyan 4 from this list as I've never watched GT. So I am sorry for that. Also, I'm not including this form because I don't want to. And with all of that said, please like and subscribe as it helps a lot. If you subscribe right now, this second, I will personally deliver the Dragon Balls to your door. And with all that stuff finally out of the way, let's hop into the video. So before I even say what the worst form of Dragon Ball is, first I have to explain the factors that even make a great form great in the first place. Firstly, you gotta give it the good old eye test. Simple enough. Does it look cool? Or like a 9-year-old child designed it? Next, we'll be seeing how the form was unlocked. Was it rage or some ritual, etc, etc. Finally, it's the first showing. First impressions, as we all know, are extremely important. So we will be seeing how the form of transformation performs on its first showing. I'll be ranking each of these factors on a scale of 1 to 10, plus a 4th ranking out of 10, which is just how much I like the form. So the max points any given form can receive is 40. With that being said, let's hop into what I believe to be Dragon Ball's worst form.
It's my brother, you guys!
Calm. Before you get mad, just realize I'm ranking the form. A lot of you guys might like this form because Gohan's cool. Exclude Gohan from the equation and just look at the form objectively. Let me just break it down why I think this is the absolute worst form of the show. Firstly, looks. Bro, is this even like different than his base? He literally took his base form, he went to his barber and he's like, all right, give me one single strand of hair across my face like Superman. That's a new form right there, dog. That's a new form. That is not a new form. That's a change of hairstyles. I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm giving the looks a 2 out of 10. Like, they didn't put any effort into this. How it was unlocked? This is the only time in the entire video I'm giving something a 0 out of 10. He sat while the Kai walked around him for 25 hours. What? That is so bad. That is literally the worst way I've ever seen a form unlocked, without a shadow of a doubt. 0 out of 10. Thirdly, its first showing. Honestly, I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. This could have actually been a 10 out of 10. When he first flew in, he had one of the coldest lines in the entire show.
So, Hotshot, you want to fight Majin Buu? Fight you? No, I want to kill you.
Genuinely, I would have given this a 10 because he was actually slapping Boo around real hard, but he just didn't stick the landing to save his life. He got too cocky, which let Boo absorb Gotenks, and after that, it just all fell apart. Like, it would have been a 10 out of 10 if he just finished the job, but he just really didn't. And then finally, personal bias. I don't know, it's a 3 out of 10. I just don't like anything about this form. It kind of bothers me. So with all these points added together, we're looking at a solid 10 out of 40, a 25% awful.
I've been a Super Saiyan for years, and now I too have the power of a god.
Super Saiyan Blue. This form, I've heard a lot of people complain about it, and the complaints are valid. Firstly, the looks. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. The aura looks cool, but dog, they didn't even try with the hair. They literally went into Photoshop, took the paint tool, and just took the yellow hair and made it blue. Boom, Super Saiyan Blue. So lazy and so uninspired, it's insane. I'll give it some credit on the way they unlocked the form. This form is the first time they had to like actually control their ki and not let any of it leave their body. They have to be extremely focused to use this form. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because it was a little more creative than a lot of the other forms in the show. And then its first showing, I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. This was just, first of all, the movie itself looked pretty bad. The movie had some cool ass frames, and then it had some awful CGI frames that just were like, oh my god. And then obviously the iconic Goku gets shot by a laser gun. Like, it was just, it's like Gohan, but Goku's worse because she should have learned it by now like 100 times over. That motherfucker cannot stick a landing in a fight to save his life. It's actually insane. 3 out of 10. Just embarrassing how bad it was. And then for the 4th and final category, how much I like the form, 1 out of 10. This is my absolute least favorite form in the entire show. There's so much wrong with it. The fact that it literally hardly wins any fights ever, okay, unless it's like some fodder character. It's just kind of a shit form, bro. Everything about it is just bad. 14 out of 40, solid 35%. Better than Ultimate Gohan, but still much worse than all the other forms by far. The 14th, I got Super Saiyan God. From here on out, I pretty much like every single form. It just sucks the way the points lined up. This happens to be 14th place. Looks, I actually give it an 8 out of 10. I really like the way they made his hair like his base form, but red. Plus like the fire aura, it just looks really cool. Like I just really enjoy the whole vibe of the form. How it was unlocked in a very unique way with the whole like little summoning thing they did with Shenron in the Battle of Gods movie. Pretty interesting, very different than any other prior form. So I do think it was pretty cool. Unfortunately for the first showing, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. First of all, the form fades after like 2 minutes of fighting and it just goes into his base. So it's like not even using the form. Uses it for like another second towards the end, but we didn't really get to see too much of the form. I do think the movie was good, but once again, like these early Dragon Ball movies, there was a lot of just bad CGI that I just really didn't like. And also the fact that the form didn't really even come close to winning this fight. It's kind of unfortunate. How much I like the form though in total, I give it like a 6 out of 10. I guess 6. Like I like the form. It's like better than completely average, like a 5 out of 10, but truthfully, it's nothing special. And that's probably mostly the fault of them introducing Super Saiyan Blue. Like I said, that's another reason I don't like Blue. This form literally had one movie where it was shown, and then it was replaced by a higher form later on. Like, they didn't even give it a chance to shine. It was just stupid. And unfortunately, that's just why Super Saiyan God isn't that good of a form. It just hardly is used, you know what I mean? It's just kind of underutilized. But overall, 26 out of 40, 65%, a 30% jump from the last form. Honestly, I was pretty surprised to see Super Saiyan 3 down here. First of all, with the looks, I'm giving it a solid 7 out of 10. I know some people don't like the look of Super Saiyan 3. I think it looks cool on Goku. I think for other characters like Gotenks, because of how short they are, it looks really fucking stupid. But I think overall, it's like a pretty just solid looking form. It looks cool on some characters, a little weird on others, but I will give it credit as it's super unique. You know, it was like the first time in the series we saw a form look very different from the others. So I'll give it some credit in that sense. The how it was unlocked category, I'm giving it just a 5 out of 10 because it's just training and it was off screen. We never even see like how he got it. He just said like he trained in Otherworld. So it's just a 5 out of 10. It's middle of the pack. It's just nah. And then it's first showing, 6 out of 10. I think the transformation scene was honestly one of the most iconic transformation scenes in anime. But the actual fight itself after it became Super Saiyan 3 wasn't like anything that special. He kind of was just playing around with Boo and then he kind of just like left. I don't know. It just, as a first showing for the form, it just wasn't anything special. Like, no one really remembers that fight when he first transforms. They remember more, like, the transformation, because it was actually cool as hell. So, yeah, 6 out of 10 is kind of fair for me. And then how much do I like the form? I'm giving it 8 out of 10. I think Super Saiyan 3 is a badass form. Once again, I think a lot of that is just nostalgia based on the transformation. The transformation scene is one of my favorite transformation scenes in anime. So, I just kind of, like, by default, like the form a lot. I think it's really fun. I think it's a cool form. It's very different than all the others. So, that's why I like it a lot. Overall, 26 out of 40, another 65%. By the way, if we get any more ties, which we will get in the future, the one that I put above is just one that I like more. So Super Saiyan 3, I like more than God.
I'm gonna kill you myself!
This is a form pretty much only exclusive to Trunks, but Super Saiyan Rage looks, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Honestly, I really fuck with the default kind of Super Saiyan look, Super Saiyan 2. Like that extra bit of blue around it. I don't know, this yellow and blue, they go really well together. This form looks cool as hell. How it was unlocked? I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It was, Trunks got like really mad, but like more mad than usual, like a normal Super Saiyan. I don't know, this form is kind of stupid. It's literally called Super Saiyan Rage, but it's like, aren't Super Saiyans already activated by Rage? This is like, he wasn't just mad, bro, he was extra mad. So I don't think it's the smartest thing I've ever seen, but yeah, whatever, why not? First showing, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Bro had a lot of aura coming out, as you all saw, like the way he was stepping on the ground, bro. The whole place was shaking, but the fact that he would just like kind of instantly got slapped around, it's a 7 out of 10. Like, he stood his ground. I mean, he literally was able to hold off Black and Zamasu for Goku and Vegeta to go back in the time machine, and he bought them enough time for them to come all the way back. But overall, I give it like a 6 out of 10 for how much I like it. I think the form's fine, just nothing like too special, and it's only just for Trunks, who's like the only character we're gonna see it on. All those points tallied together is 27 out of 40, or 67.5%. We're still technically in the failing grade. All the ones after this will be passing.
Is that all you've got? Okay then, guess it's my turn.
I'm honestly surprised to see this form this slow. I thought this form was really cool. But after looking at it from a logical POV, it's just kind of missing what makes like a form really great. And that's kind of just like why it was unlocked. First, we'll do looks. I know this one's controversial. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. The really big hair is fine. I know it bothers some people a lot. I really like the aura with this form. This form has a really badass aura. That could have just been the movie, but 7 out of 10. Without the aura, it could be a 6 out of 10. I know some people really hate the way this form looks. I could definitely see that, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because I don't mind it, truthfully. The problem really lies on how it was unlocked. It was unlocked with him seeing Piccolo on my head, which, like, I don't understand how he went from Ultimate Gohan level strength to, like, MUI level strength just from getting a little mad. Like, that jump in power is insane. I don't know why he didn't transform into Beast Gohan against Moro when Moro stabbed his dad through the chest, but whatever. I just think the way it was unlocked, like, it was kind of cheap also, kind of copying Super Saiyan 2. If you watch them side by side, it's very similar scenes. For first showing, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Dude, its first showing was insane, dude. Cell Max punched him. His punch didn't even get past Gohan's aura, by the way. Gohan goes, all right, is that all you got? I guess it's my turn, and just proceeds to slap him with his dick. Then he charges the special beam cannon, one of the coldest moves, bro. Piccolo paved the road so Gohan could run, dude. Oh my god, this animation sequence with the special beam cannon, one of the best first showings of form in all of Dragon Ball. It looked incredible. 10 out of 10. How much I like the form, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I think the form is really badass. Gohan's obviously a badass character sometimes. The only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is just, like I said, the way he unlocked this form was really fucking stupid. I don't think him seeing Piccolo potentially killed should have made him go from like Super Saiyan Blue levels of strength to like MUI, but I don't know, just it's kind of cheap power up in my opinion to make him relevant again, but whatever. Overall, 30 out of 40, 75%, not bad.
Now you can finally see my all!
Honestly surprised Super Saiyan Blue Evolution made it into the top 10. For looks, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. I really do like the way they made this form. It's basically just blue, but darker with like slightly different colored shades of blue in his hair, so it's not all the same one color. Plus like the sparklies around him, the little sparkle aura. I just think it's a really nice looking form. When he first transformed into this form, the music for this scene is one of my favorite soundtracks in Dragon Ball. I really just love the way this form was presented. I think it's really cool, so 8 out of 10. How it was unlocked, I'll give that an 8 out of 10 also. I think it was pretty interesting. He just pushed his blue to the utmost limit and evolved it. You know, his universe, his wife, his new daughter, Kaba, all their lives were on the line. So he just knew he had to dig deep and really just do everything he could to save his universe. So I just thought that was pretty cool. And then for its first showing, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I really liked the power-up scene with Goku and Vegeta. I thought this first showing of the form was really badass. Although it just didn't perform like insanely well against Jiren, which is like not really the form's fault. Jiren was just insanely OP, but it was really cool. I did like the scene where Goku and Vegeta were fighting Jiren with their combo attacks, but because they never trained together, their attacks were not coordinated, which in turn actually was throwing off Jiren because of how uncoordinated they were. Like, bro's like, I can't read this shit. Overall, Blue Evolution is actually one of my favorite forms. I've given it an 8 out of 10 for how much I like it. It is kind of a shame. We're probably not going to see this form much at all. We might see it in like the next arc and the more arc, but the second the Granola arc starts, I doubt we're ever seeing this form again with Ultra Ego coming into the mix. It is kind of a shame. We barely got anything in this form when we only had the form for like an episode or two before we saw it disappear forever. It wasn't even used in the Broly movie, which is kind of sad. Bringing our total to 31 out of 40, a 77.5%. Overall, I love this form, and I do hope we see more of it eventually in the future.
I'm not the opening act! I'm the star of this damn show!
Calling you the opening act is a weak metaphor. It's much more like you're just the appetizer.
Bro, this form, ooh, I love the way it looks. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It looks so hard. Part of the reason it looks so good is just Black himself, bro. The man hits these cold ass poses every 2 seconds. Also the aura, dude. The aura, that dark pink, it's just that glow. It looks so good. I know Rosé and like Black are like a lot of people's favorite part of Dragon Ball Super. Personally, I think it was one of the weaker arcs, honestly. But I know a lot of people really love this character, so just try to keep in mind we are talking about the form more than the character itself. So if you really like the Black arc, that's fine. How it was unlocked, I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. He just learned Goku's body more, and it's kind of like his version of Super Saiyan Blue. Nothing too special, honestly. And then for the first showing, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. This kind of got to get some credit to Black. When the form was first shown, bro was hitting some of the coldest lines I ever saw. Like the one in the intro is like, Vegeta's like, I'm the star of this damn show. And he goes, the star of the show? That's more like a weak metaphor. He said, you're more like the appetizers. Oh, so cold. Also, when he just dropped down and put his fingers on Vegeta's neck. I know that wasn't the form, but he was like about to transform, so I'm counting it. I don't care. That shit was so cold. Bro went so hard here, and then he just slapped Vegeta with his blade. I know a lot of fans watching that must have been jaw dropped just seeing Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta getting dropped that goddamn hard, dude. And then he kind of just no-diffed Goku. Like, one of the best first showings for a form. He asserted pure and utter dominance, and when you introduce a new super powerful form, that's what you want to do. You want to show its utter dominance, bro. So yeah, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Great first showing. How much I like the form? I think it's a 7 out of 10, because honestly, after the first showing, this arc has some weird animation moments where the animation's pretty bad. The form is fine. It's kind of just blue, but for black. It's like his version of Super Saiyan Blue. I think it's way better than blue. I think blue is a shit form overall, but this one's not that special. It's just his version of that form. It just looks cool, and he's also just a better character. So yeah, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Nothing too special overall, bringing the total to a 32 out of 40. 80%, finally making it in the B range, and yeah, great form.
Now I'll show you the Kaioken!
I'm gonna be honest, I did not expect this form to make it as high as it did, but blue Kaioken, bro. Why not? The blue form I truthfully think is pretty bad, but the extra little spice of Kaioken just makes this form so sick. Looks, bro, this form goes straight up to a 9 out of 10. The blue and the red contrast looks so goddamn cool. How it was unlocked, 7 out of 10. I mean, I do think it was interesting, the fact that after all these years, he decided, let's mix Kaioken with my forms and see how that works. And it actually does work, because the blue form, like I stated earlier, you need to use focus to use it. So it makes sense to use it with the Kaioken, because the Kaioken is a form you need extreme focus to use. And since blue is the heavy focus form, it makes sense to stack these together. So I actually do think it was a pretty cool writing choice to put these two together. Its first showing, badass, bro. This first showing was crazy. We watched Hit, first of all, just kind of shit on Vegeta, okay, in blue. Then Goku comes in. Goku does better in base form, which is pretty funny. That's just his genius showing through, not even power. Then he decides, fuck it, I ain't done yet. It's like, come on, bro. Drop the bravado. He's like, nah, bro. I'm about to whip the shit out of you. Whips out the Kaioken. Just such a cool-ass power-up scene. It's doubled, tripled. No, it's times 10. Just the idea of using blue, an already like god level form, and then timesing it by 10, that's just such a cool idea. I really love this episode. This is one of my favorite episodes in Super. Its first showing was a 9. How much I like the form? I'll give it an 8 out of 10, bro. I think it's just a really solid form. It takes blue, a form that I think is really bad, and makes it into something just unique to Goku, and something that I think is just much better overall. Based on this ranking system, it actually made it into the top 8 with a score of 33 out of 40 and 82.5%. Well earned. Alrighty, we got the legendary Super Saiyan form up next. First of all, it looks is a 10 out of 10. Now, I don't know if it's the form itself that looks a 10 out of 10. I think the fact that it's on Broly helps, and Broly just looks like the ultimate Giga Chad. It's a form unique to him and one other, but I'm gonna ignore that for the purposes of this video. Broly, he just looks like a fucking Giga Chad in this form. I'm sorry, this green aura, the fucking 18 feet tall Goliath with 500 pounds all muscle, dude. He's just yoinked head to toes. I gotta know what bro is taking to get muscles like that, bro. Give me the juice. I think also the fact that I'm giving the looks at a 10 out of 10 is the fact that its debut was in the Broly movie. And the Broly movie is actually one of the best animated things I've ever seen from anime in general, which is nice to see because Super was very inconsistent. But this movie actually just looked incredible, just like head to toe. This is one of the nicest showing of anime talent you'll ever see, really. How it was unlocked. Okay, this is the only part where it's kind of weak. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. It's not mid like a 5 out of 10, but it's still like kind of a failing grade. It's 6 out of 10. He just got really angry, and he just happened to be the legendary Super Saiyan. I think, as we all know, like once every 1,000 years, one of these guys shows up or whatever, and it just happened to be him. But how it was unlocked, the reason I'm not giving it a full 5 is because it was a little funny. The way he got mad, Frieza killing his dad. This scene was just pure comedy genius.
Broly, look! It's such a tragedy!
I remember when the scene was shown in the theaters, everyone was laughing because, yeah, the scene was really funny. For its first showing, I mean, 9 out of 10, bro. It's just near perfect, dude. I mean, it just happened to be, like I said, in such a goated movie. Its first showing is him standing up to Gogeta Blue, bro. Like, that shit, it goes so hard. And I know I said forms need to show utter dominance, but, like, there's only so much bro can do against Gogeta Blue. That thing is literally stronger than Beerus, allegedly. But, yeah, I mean, I think this movie was just amazing. So anything shown in this movie is just going to be amazing. Saiyan, one of my favorite movies of all time. I remember I saw this movie in theaters day one it came out. I went to, I think it was Studio Movie Grill. That was the movie theater I went to. And the guy that was giving me and my friend the food literally told us, he said, I just got this job a few weeks ago so I could watch early screenings of the movie. Bro is just a like giga Dragon Ball fan. I thought that was funny. How much I like the form, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I do think it is a great form. 8 out of 10 is still really high for me to give, but I just think it's missing a few key aspects to make it like a truly amazing form. I think part of the reason it's so good is just because Broly's cool, but the form itself, it's cool because of how rare it is, but as a form itself, it's not anything too insane. So yeah, with a score of 33 out of 40, 82.5%, Legendary Super Saiyan, goated form. Just really quick, so you guys aren't confused. This is true Ultra Instinct, not Omen. I know the video is Omen, but I could not find a single like actual video clip that was just true UI. And also, I know someone's probably already said it before with Blue Kaioken or whatever. I'm well aware the Ultra Instinct is a technique technically. I don't give a but if his hair changes, it's a form. That's all I'm saying. Looks, 10 out of 10. I mean, it looks just like Omen, and spoiler, Omen is my favorite looking form in the entire show, so of course I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Is there anything I even need to say here? I mean, Ultra Instinct just looks amazing. How it was unlocked, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I think it was interesting how Vegeta was telling him, like, your Ultra Instinct hasn't evolved, you need to make it, like, your own. So he decided, like, okay, maybe being all calm of heart isn't exactly the best technique for me, Goku. As a Saiyan, you use your emotions as power. So after meditating for a few seconds, he actually realized a way he could use his Ultra Instinct when he's extremely emotional like this is he can use the Omen form. Instead of using the Mastered Ultra Instinct that requires you to be calm of heart, he could use just the Omen form and then let his emotions do the work for him to make his offensive strength much stronger than before. It was a form he could only use for a few minutes when he tried it, but its first showing, 8 out of 10. This first showing was sick, bro. We see this guy who is beating back MUI and Ultra Eco Vegeta get pushed back by True UI Goku. He gets punched at one point and he does one of my favorite moves that I can't wait to see animated, where he like shakes his head for a few seconds and then just opens his mouth and just blasts him, dude. A mouth blast from Goku is just so badass. I don't know why. It's just so raw. Even Vegeta was like, that form is supposed to be Ultra Instinct. Absurd. It was absurd. UI is supposed to be this calm form and he's shooting mouth blast. That's just such a cool thing I just didn't expect. Overall, I think this form is an 8 out of 10 in total. I like the idea behind it. I just think Omen and MUI, I mean, spoilers, are both better for what they're trying to do. But I do think it was an interesting, welcome addition to the show because I do think it is cool, which brings this form's total to 34 out of 40 and 85%, a solid B. Not the best form ever, but still one of the best forms. When it's animated, it still will be amazing to watch on screen. Bulldozing its way into the top 5, we have Ultra Ego, a form exclusive to Vegeta. First of all, with the looks, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm a man, not afraid to admit it, but I love purple and pink. Those colors can look so good when done right, and honestly, the purple color from Ultra Ego looks so clean, especially with the Destroyer aura around it. Another thing I found very fitting for the looks of the form, which I don't know if they meant to do or not, but throughout history, purple has always been correlated with royalty and high status. So for someone like the Prince, I think it is actually a perfect fit. Genuinely, I think I would give this form a 10 out of 10, but for some reason, like Super Saiyan 3, they just decide to like delete his eyebrows, which it's a weird choice. I don't really care that much, but I just think it's odd more than anything. How it was unlocked, once again, this is probably where the form's weakest area is. It's a 7 out of 10. It's just like, he just trained with Beerus. It's like 7. It's like neutral. It's just fine. It's good, not anything great, not terrible. We haven't fully seen Vegeta use like Hakai the same way Beerus does, but if he does learn how to use that, that's a massively OP move. He would know. Hopefully we get to see him learn that sooner than later. And then for its first showing, 9 out of 10. Could give it a 10 if he performed slightly better in the fight. He did take a granola who pretty much negative diffed Ultra Instinct Goku, and he kind of brought him to a standstill, and they kind of drew against each other. This battle was raw as fuck. I know when it's animated, it's gonna be so cold. There's one shot I love where he like drop kicks through his force field. That's just such a clean shot. They were like, all right, the Ceruleans and the Saiyans are both gonna go extinct here. Fuck it. How much I like the form, bro, this is a 10 out of 10. This is like top 3 form for how much I like the form. First of all, I like the idea that he didn't follow Goku for once. Like throughout the entire show, they just had the exact exact same form. I do like at the end of Super that like everyone's kind of getting their own forms, and I do think it's very fitting for Vegeta's character. It does not make sense for him to have MUI. He has not come of heart at all. But a form like Ultra Ego, which gets stronger the more damage you take, and the hotter your passion for battle burns, it's just a really cool idea. I love it. I think it works perfectly for Vegeta. There's a perfect contrast to Goku's MUI. I think these two forms should be the final two forms of the show. I don't think it would make much sense narratively for Goku or Vegeta to get a form stronger than these two. I just think they should work on polishing their god forms. Overall though, 35 out of 40, 87.5%.
And I won't watch this anymore!
Alright, Super Saiyan 2 for our 4th place form. I know this form has a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people's hearts, but just keep in mind, I did not grow up watching Z. The first Dragon Ball episode I ever watched was literally episode 110. Don't ask me why, that just was the first episode I watched. Looks, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It's not very different than Super Saiyan, but it's different enough where it like can stand on its own. Super Saiyan is already one of the cleanest looking forms, but the fact that they just have the hair slightly higher, they have slightly more muscle, and the electricity around them, it just is very clean. It's very clean form. This was back in the day before like every form was like a different color and shit like that, so it makes sense. It's not like drastically different than 1. Blue felt more like just a lazy ripoff, and 2 feels more like a natural progression, if that makes sense. So overall 9 out of 10 I think is fair. How it was unlocked, this is maybe the first 10 out of 10 I have on the list. I can't really remember, but watching the death of Android 16 after 16 gave him this whole speech about how he has to let go. Gohan reflecting in his whole life how everyone's been always watching over him. Whenever it's his turn to watch over them, he usually fails, and sometimes people die because of it, and he absolutely refuses to watch all of his friends and family die again, so he shatters past his limits, as we all knew he could. Amazing writing, a really great form overall. That's why I think it is the first 10 out of 10. For the first showing, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I know he didn't close the deal like some other forms I insulted, but dog, he made up for it with how badass he was. You have to remember, Dragon Ball inspired a lot of people because a lot of people grew up watching this show. A lot of people watching this show were very young, so when they were watching Gohan at 11 years old, probably the same age as a lot of the kids watching the show, knocking Cell around like an absolute ragdoll, catching the Destructo disc, people's jaws were absolutely on the floor, and they were just like, they cannot believe this 11-year-old kid is this much of a menace. And that's why a lot of these kids later say Gohan is their favorite character. It's because when they were his age, they're growing up watching this episode on TV. This form is actually just monstrous because, like I said, I didn't grow up watching it. How much I like the form, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, bro. It is still one of my favorite forms. I think it's really clean. I just didn't grow up watching it, so it's like it doesn't have the same emotional weight to me that it would have for someone else growing up watching the form. But it still is almost a perfect form. It has a 37 out of 40 on the scale and 92.5% our first A tier form. I was actually surprised to see there only are 4 forms in the A tier, but I think Super Saiyan 2 definitely deserves its spot up here. I am butthurt. Ultra Instinct Omen, I'm going to spoiler it out. This is my favorite form in all of Dragon Ball. I think this deserves to be number 1. But the way the points worked out, I just think it lacks what makes a form truly the best, if that makes sense. But it is my personal favorite. Looks, like I said earlier, 10 out of 10. Bro, how can you not think this form looks the best? It's base Goku, but just with an extra sleek, clean silver added to it. And the fucking aura, bro, it just is so clean, dog. This is where it loses its 1 point, how it was unlocked. I don't think I could reasonably give this a 10 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because I'm biased, but it didn't have as much emotional weight or anything. The way he unlocked it was kind of just, he knew his universe was going to go, so he just kind of had to surpass his limits right here and break through his ceiling. Cool idea, but it's not 10 out of 10. For its first showing, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. When episode 109 and 110 dropped, because they dropped together, if you guys don't remember, this shit shattered Crunchyroll. At this point in Crunchyroll's history, it's never crashed like this at all. Dragon Ball was the first show to absolutely obliterate it, and what helped is the fact that Dragon Ball Super was ahead of the manga, so people, literally no one had any idea this was coming at all. This was one of the greatest first showings of a form in anime history. No one knew it was coming, and out of nowhere, you see this character Jiren throwing around Blue Kaioken times 20, not even trying, bro. And then out of nowhere, this new mysterious form comes and just puts on a masterclass of a first appearance. Everyone watching this was just like, huh? How did this guy close the gap this fast? What is this form? Why does it look so serious? How much I like the form? I mean, you already know. 10 out of 10. It's my favorite form in the show. One thing I really liked about UI Omen was the fact that every other previous form for any character throughout all of Dragon Ball, it's like triggered by strong, intense emotions or strong like desire. This was the first form that was just so different because it was mysterious, bro. He was quiet. He didn't have any reaction on his face. He just looked locked in. And we're all like, this is the same Goku who screams for 10 episodes straight to power up. And he's just dead silent, throwing hands like a god. It's also the first form in the show that like is different than the other ones in the sense of all the other different forms are just power-ups. This is the first time it actually is more like a different way of fighting, which is kind of because it's a technique, not really a form. But like I said, it's a fucking form. I don't care. And the technique is like the fact that his body moves on its own. I think it's just a masterclass of writing. It's beautiful. 39 out of 40. I really wanted it to be my number one, but objectively, I can't put it at that high. 97.5%. Overall, truly my favorite, and I think the most perfect form of the show.
I think the brat should go next.
You ruthless, heartless bastard! I will make you suffer!
Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan. Are you really surprised? Did you honestly expect this form to not be near the top? Looks 10 out of 10. Do I even gotta say it? It is the most iconic looking form in the entire series, bro. So many other forms of media and other TV shows have copied it or done like small nods to it, which I think is kind of funny. It's just iconic, bro. Like I said in the intro, what makes a form so great? Iconic. Is there anything in anime more iconic than a Super Saiyan? Genuinely, anything in any anime? I don't think so. Your fucking 98-year-old grandma on her deathbed has probably heard of a Super Saiyan at least once in her life. How it was unlocked, another 10 out of 10, bro. Just emotional, just really well written. The death of his best friend. Bro did not take that sitting down. He did not take that lightly. It was also just new lore. Super Saiyan didn't even exist before this part. Vegeta mentioned it, but we never actually saw one, so it's just amazing to see. For its first showing, dude, I mean, it's iconic. It's a 10 out of 10. It topples the universe tyrant Frieza, dude. An unbeatable wall at first, seen as infinite power. No other character could even hold a finger to it. And then the first legendary Super Saiyan comes out for the first time in I don't even know how many years. And Goku just beats the brakes off him, bro. It's just iconic. It's perfect. It's just such a great scene. How much I like the form. Going 4 for 4. It's a 10 out of 10. The first 40 out of 40 we got on our list. A grade 100 form. It's just iconic, bro. You cannot appreciate it, at least. I didn't even grow up watching Z, but I still think it's one of the best forms in the show because if Dragon Ball didn't introduce this, anime as we know it today could be very different. A lot of your favorite manga artists, a lot of your favorite mangas and animes, Attack on Titan, I don't know, My Hero, JJK, pretty much any anime you can think of, at least once in an interview, the authors will literally credit Toriyama, basically saying they grew up with Dragon Ball, dude. It inspired them to become a manga artist. They saw Dragon Ball and what a Super Saiyan was, and they were like, this shit is so cool, I'm gonna write my own shit. So many great animes we have today might not even exist if not for Dragon Ball. So even if you are a Dragon Ball hater or you're like, One Piece is better, you gotta at least nod to it, bro. These animes, a lot of them wouldn't even exist without it. So yeah, when it comes to iconic and legendary, like no form really holds a candle to Super Saiyan 1. Although I don't think it is the best form in Dragon Ball. That might just be my personal bias though.
This is autonomous Ultra Instinct!
Wow, big surprise it's up here, right? First of all, the looks. I mean, bro, this is a 10 out of 10 looking form. I think Omen looks slightly better, but it still looks hard as fuck. How it was unlocked, I will give this one a 10, unlike UI Omen, in the sense of Goku had his back to the wall, dude. He heard the voices of everyone. He was in his Omen form. He knew the second this light from his eye goes out, his universe is dead. Every single person throughout his entire journey is counting him in this moment. Everyone is out. Vegeta's knocked out. Everyone else. If he doesn't dive deeper into the instinct, he will lose in his universe, and everyone he's ever known to care about or love will be gone forever. He dives deeper into instinct. He hears this goat speech from Vegeta saying, trespass into the domain of the gods. Such an absolute masterpiece speech by Vegeta, by the way. Still one of the best speeches in anime. Finally, he locks in MUI. What's its first showing? Dog. His first showing is him slapping Jiren around like a level 1 nugget bot in some video game MMORPG, bro. Oh my god. Also, what makes the first showing so good. Like I said before, the anime was ahead of the manga. No news that this was coming. There were watch parties in Mexico with like 30 to 50,000 people watching the finale of this arc. Imagine watching a stadium of 50,000 people and the rest of the world, by the way. No one knows what's coming next. And that's why this fucking form was so iconic. I do think, genuinely, after watching Dragon Ball Super, more animes need to go down the route of making the anime before the manga. I know it can turn out bad, or there can be things like filler, but it's worth it. For not a single person to know what's going to happen next, it just creates this level of tension and intensity that just other mangas can't compete with. Because, like watching Blue Lock, for example, or JJK, so many fans I've seen on TikTok, spoilers and other things like that, it's just not as hype, bro. But a form like MUI or UI, for example, no one knew that shit was coming. We had people destroying their Crunchyroll servers. Everyone and their mom was lined up waiting to watch this shit. There were literally studies done that in Mexico, the violence and crime rate went drastically down every week when the Super episode was airing. Because, bro, they were tuning in, bro. They had to see what was happening next. How much I like the form, I mean, do I even have to say it? It's a 10 out of 10. It's another 40 out of 40, 100%. I think this is one of the greatest masterpieces in Dragon Ball. Once again, like UI, it's different than all the other forms. It's iconic. It looks amazing. This final fight had everyone on the edge of their seats. It was one of the greatest fights in anime. MUI Goku versus Jiren. This will hands down go down in the history books, as I know a lot of people don't like Super, but everyone that watched Super could say that this was a great fucking moment, dude. Every single Super hater still likes UI because it's just such a cool form. Overall, this is the #1 form in Dragon Ball. If I were to give it to like just purely writing, I would probably give it to Super Saiyan 1. And if I were to give it to my own personal bias, UI Omen is my favorite form. But I'm not mad with MUI being up here. This is still an amazing form. I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that. And yeah, that's the video. If you guys made it this far, which I doubt a lot of you did, but if you did, comment down below letting me know that you made it this far. And I do appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing me. Subscribe, like, all that good shit. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.